You have officially listed something on Poshmark. You've now learned how to share your closet as well as send offers, and you finally have a sale. Congratulations! In this video, I'm going to show you the best optimal way to ship your items, which supplies to get, and how do you get paid. Let's go. Do you need this large of a shipping area? No, especially not when you're first starting. However, we have now gotten to a place where we are packing like 10 to 100, maybe even 200 orders in a day. So having this designated area for us has been super handy. If you are someone who is wanting more of an organized like shipping area, I will show you some footage right now of this a little more up close. But basically all this is a tool desk. Finding something that is taller so that way you can pack things, has a couple drawers, a shelf up here, maybe even a shelf down at the bottom, is super helpful when it comes to keeping things organized. Now, I will also say we do sell on eBay and we do also sell on Whatnot. So there are some other packing stuff that we have over here that's not necessary for Poshmark. The nice thing about Poshmark is the majority of the stuff that you're shipping, the shipping supplies, is basically free. In fact, if you get a shipping label on Poshmark, they have this little spot down here at the bottom of the label that says, Posh shippers are authorized to use all priority packing, including flat rate and regional rate packing through zones local 1 through 8. So you basically can go to the USPS website, click on the, I think it's like either a tab or a little box that says free boxes, and go into that section and order regional boxes, flat rate boxes, priority mail boxes, and all of those things you can ship your items in. The biggest key is when someone purchases an item on Poshmark, the shipping label that they are purchasing is essentially 5 pounds or under. So if your item goes over 5 pounds, you do need to make sure you increase that shipping label. And we might go into that when we get to the computer, but for now, I want to show you the supplies that I use regularly on Poshmark. The Tyvek envelopes. Now, the nice thing about this one is there's so much that can fit into this. You can have sweaters that can fit into this, jeans, shirts. If you have something that's super tiny, you might want to purchase poly bags that you can put them into ship. But if you're trying to do the cheap route, just pack everything in here. The one thing I will say is there is an adhesive right here that you can pull off and put down. I would still put tape over that because I would hate for it during transit for this to pop open. I just don't always feel like that adhesive is always the greatest. So reinforcing it with some tape is always what I prefer to do. If something is getting way too big and you just cannot fit into one of those Tyvek things, there are a few different boxes that I go to a lot with Poshmark. The first one is this shoebox. I really love this shoebox. If you open it up, it makes like the perfect shoebox style. I do, again, when it comes to having like Amazon orders and whatnot, I do keep a lot of like the filling that I have from those boxes. So that way, if I do have some shoes, I don't want them to slide around in here. So I do like to put something there to kind of help prevent that from happening. I want to make sure that the item gets to the person the same way that I photographed the item originally. Next, we have the priority mailbox. This is probably the largest one, if I remember correctly. That is not a flat rate one. And I love this if there are multiple items going into an order. Specifically with the new Posh shows, that's been happening a lot more where I'm shipping several items to a customer. So having these boxes on hand are super handy. And again, this one says, actually, no, I take that back. This one is the priority mail large flat rate box. So flat rate makes a difference on pretty much every other platform except for Poshmark. Flat rate means you've purchased this box, and no matter how heavy this item goes, it is still one flat rate. That's the same for the medium flat rate, the small flat rate, because they have one standard cost. So on Poshmark, that doesn't make a difference. You can use flat rate, regional, you can even use priority. Well, typically that's what I use, is the priority mailboxes. So this is actually the flat rate large box, which I think that one's a little thinner than the regular large box. Yeah, actually here it is right here. So this is the large mailing box, this is the large flat rate. You can tell that this one is smaller than the other, and I think that's just because it's that flat cost. Okay, there is another box like this, and I think my husband's actually out of them at this point, but it's what I like to call the side loader. So you can open it up and then fill it this direction. I will make sure I put the priority mail one down below, but honestly, you can use the flat rate or the priority mail. It doesn't really matter. It's just what does your item fit best in. We do like to make sure we can fit our items really well into the boxes and then reinforce it with tape. That way there's not a whole lot of movement around. And this is why my husband does this part of our job a lot more than me, because he really likes making sure that things are very secure and are going to get to the customer in the same condition they were here. So really, depending on what it is that you are selling on Poshmark is going to alter what you're going to want to have on hand on a regular basis. The other thing that I do use a lot are these poly bags, or even sometimes having a smaller one if I have like a really small racer back. This is also another one I use. This is one that I have from eBay, which again, different platform for a different day. We can go into that, but we do use the small ones sometimes on Poshmark as well. If you are wanting to brand yourself a little bit, you can always have like thank you cards, or if you do print out the packing slips, you can always write on that. You know, you don't have to do that. That is additional cost. For us, we do like to have a little bit of a personal touch. And so I did get these on Amazon for like, I think $9 for 100 or 200 of them. Something else you can do, Poshmark does have like tissue paper. You can also just use regular tissue paper. Whatever presentation you want to have when your customer is receiving the order, you can customize to whatever you would like. I'll put some of the links down below that I've gotten from Amazon of some like stickers or things like that that I've used in the past that I really enjoy. But if you're trying to do this as affordably as possible, stick with the USPS boxes and supplies. It's free and you might as well use it now that you've got it. Now, specifically with the priority mail tape, they do recommend that it goes on any boxes that do not have like stamping of USPS on it. So we use Amazon boxes. Sometimes we use Target boxes, whatever we have sent to our house. We do like to reuse those. So we do put the priority mail tape on there. The key to this though is you cannot go to the USPS site to order this. You have to call the 1-800 number and ask. It's a really straightforward process. They will kind of tell you that disclaimer that I just told you about making sure it's going on like things that do not have the USPS markings on it. But this tape is so strong. I really like it and it's free. You might as well use it. This you can purchase on Amazon though, or if you ever order stuff off of Uline, you can also get this there. So I'm going to show you guys how to find your shipping labels on Poshmark. The first thing I will say though is you should get an email, whatever email you've connected to your Poshmark account, that says, congratulations, an item has sold. Here is the shipping label down below. So if you're on your email, you will have that PDF there. You can print it on a printer or you can print it on a label printer. They do have, I think, instructions on Poshmark to show you how to convert the sizing correctly to do a thermal label printer, which if you do get to a place where you are growing your Poshmark business and you're like, I'm printing out way too many labels on a regular basis, I would definitely say save for a thermal printer label. I'll put a link, I should say, down below, so that way you can take a look at that, because that was one of the best business expenses I've ever paid for. I'm so thankful that I have that label printer. It's saved me so much time. So if you go to the profile up here and then you go to my sales, when you're in the my sales section, it's going to show you all the things that have sold recently. I'm going to click on the first one, and right here you have a lot of options. You can message the buyer, any problems or order inquiries, you can do that here, whether it is, again, messaging the buyer, canceling an order, releasing payment, contacting Posh support. You've got all of that there. Right down here, it does say upgrade shipping label. That is what I was telling you about before. If something goes over 5 pounds, you do need to make sure you upgrade that label. I will say, if you do have like multiple items and it does go over 5 pounds, I would take a look at Pirate Ship or Sendle.com as a different option to maybe get that item sent out. So maybe you're sending out 2 orders instead of 1. Poshmark only gives you 1 label. You have to use their label. There's no other way to add tracking here, so they will never know if the item shipped if you do not use that label. What I am saying though is if you are over 5 pounds, let's go to upgrade your label right here. You select the weight. If you needed to go 5 pounds more, that's $22.50. It's very expensive. I think that sometimes there are other options depending on where a person is located. You know, if they live in the same state as you, at the state next to you, there's a lot of variety of that. So honestly, I would take a look at like Sendle and Pirate Ship to see if that's an option. And then I would just message the buyer saying, hey, this order together went over 5 pounds, I'm gonna go ahead and send out the one that you'll see Poshmark starting to track, but here's the tracking for the other one. That way you're gonna get all of your orders. That way they don't open one and go, where's the rest of my order? Does Poshmark recommend that? Honestly, I don't know if they have something bad or positive to say about that. So long as you communicate with your customer and your customer is happy, I'm sure that Poshmark's going to be happy too. I have only done this probably twice in my career though, and I've never had any problems with it. You just want to make sure you are using the shipping label that Poshmark does provide you with. If you get anything from anything I just said, you must do that. So you can download the shipping label right here. So you click on download, it says the shipping label is ready or has already been emailed to you. If you haven't received it, you can download it here now. So then you've got it downloaded, you click on that. I'm not gonna click on it because it's gonna immediately pop up with the person's information. But that is the way that you can get the label if you don't see it in your email anymore. If you want to mark it as shipped, you can mark it right here. That just immediately lets the buyer know that it is on its way to the post office. But once it does get scanned at the post office, that is going to change to it has been shipped. Now let me show you how to add the packing slip with the shipping label. This is something you have to opt into on Poshmark. So for me specifically, when I have 20 items or 10 orders that are going out in one day, it is kind of nice to send all of them to my email at one time and then print out all the labels at the same time. But if I don't have a packing slip with it, then I don't know who has what items. So if you go up again to the profile picture and then you come down here into my account settings, something like that. Oh yeah, right here, account settings. When you are here, you can look over to the side and it says shipping label settings. Click on that and then it says printable labels, shipping with a QR code. Then also you can change your shipping size, like the label size. Then you also have right down here, it says packing slip. Your packing slip is on. A packing slip will be printed along with the shipping label. It's that easy. It's just a little button right here that says on or off. The other nice thing about having a packing slip is having your SKU. So for me, if you saw at the very beginning, you saw all those totes with letters on it. That is how I inventory my product. If I put a code in that SKU line of the listing, which I showed you guys in my first video, make sure you go back to that one if you don't know what I'm talking about. When you print out your packing slip, is going to show the SKU code. So that is also another way for me to not only print out the label, know what the person purchased, but then also have my code that I can then go into my inventory system and pull the item. Makes it so easy. I love that. Okay, now let's talk about how do you get paid. One of the funnest parts of this platform. The key here that you need to be aware of is once you ship out your item, it has to get to the buyer and then they have to accept that they have received the order, or if they haven't done it within, I think, either 48 to 72 hours, Poshmark will immediately allow the payment to be redeemable. So you do have to, like, there's a lag time, unfortunately. Really nice on the mobile app. If you click in the top right-hand corner, it's like this green little star. You can see your balance, and then that's where you can also change where you are going to get paid out at. My sales. Here it is. Okay, so if you do go into the My Sales section, so if you are in the top right-hand corner, go to My Sales. Over here under My Sales, there is My Balance. If you click on that, it'll show you any credits. So anyone who has used your link to go onto Poshmark and purchase something, you can have a credit there that is solely for purchasing more items on Poshmark. You have a pending balance, and then you also have a redeemable balance. So that's what I was telling you about before, where if you have a ton of orders that are out, it is going to be in the pending section. And once the buyer accepts the order, then you are going to be able to redeem it. So that's where this redeemable is here. So I can redeem my balance. I can take a look at the history. There we go. Okay, so in this section, it's going to show bank direct deposit. You can do Venmo at 39-cent fee charge. You can have it sent to PayPal, which is a 35-cent charge. You also have an instant transfer. This was something that was new to Poshmark, just came out 2022 at PoshFest. They announced this. You can get instant transfer. So if you have a bank account on file, within 30 minutes, you'll get paid. All you have to do is pay a $2 fee. That one is actually pretty nice because with doing a direct bank deposit. While there is no fee, it does take 1 to 3 business days for it to get into your bank account. So here is the area that if you were to click on it, if you do not have a bank account on file, it will ask you to add in that information. You can do this on both the computer as well as your phone. Comment down below, are you someone who is just cleaning out your closet and trying to sell some stuff on Poshmark, or have you got the Poshmark bug? Have you gotten to a place where you're like, man, this is really cool, I could do this, I'm having so much fun? Would love to hear in the comments down below. Or are you someone who has been on Poshmark for a while and you're like, you know, this was a lot of good information, I appreciate that. Also, make sure you guys are following us and get the bell notification ready to go, because next week we are going to be doing a video of what has sold well on the platform for us on Poshmark. We've been on this platform now very consistently since 2017. There was a little hiccup in there, I will admit, but I have a couple little tricks and things that I have looked over the years that I would love to give to you as information, so that way you can have the best success with your Poshmark store. I will see you guys next week. Bye.